Also welcome Acacia Newsom, PWR, BYB, Project Assistant for NCBCB.
Welcome to the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation's Black Women's Roundtable, 11th Annual Women of Power National Summit. We are live streaming. We have folks who couldn't make the trip for various reasons, so God bless us to be able to have the few coins to provide hybrid, what they call hybrid, an opportunity for folks to be in the room, be at the power table personally, or at the power table virtually. So can we get an amen to that? So are you ready? So here's what I want to explain. And I'm going to turn it over to I'm not going to say emerging leader, our leader, Acacia Newsom, to just paint a picture. 2 years ago, we had the summit. I forgot where we had it. Renaissance. And we had built the power. We wanted to find a way to develop this, what we call power table mentality. We are the power table. So thanks to Anthony Rodell and his team and Tanya and everybody, we built a power table, if y'all recall. But with all that's been going on for the last couple of years, and we thinking, oh yeah, we'll build another power table. We said, no, we want everybody to feel this is the power table. You are the power table. A lot of y'all get to come up here, but understand, we didn't want any barriers as much as we could. You notice the 6 chairs and not 10. That way when you're eating, you don't have to worry about somebody, like trying to worry about, do all that. We can make sure we did everything we could. We thank everybody for, I know it wasn't easy. We were hard on you about staying with protocols as much as we could. How many folks have been impacted by COVID? So we wanted to find a way, based on the science, right, to find a way to be in the room, but also be safe. Can I get a safe amen? So I'm going to turn it over. I got more to say, but I want to let us hear from our illustrious leader, Acacia Newsom, our project assistants, both for Black Youth Vote, Black Women's Roundtable. Acacia, what you got to say?
Hi, everyone. As Melanie has already said, I'm Acacia Newsom. I'm the program assistant for Black Women's Roundtable. I want to start by saying the biggest thank you to my president and my CEO, Melanie Campbell. I call her Miss Make It Happen, okay? Thank you for providing this safe space for Black women when there aren't many out there for us. It feels so good to see you all's beautiful faces this year. It's been a long 2 years. Especially my young people. I'll be seeing you all very, very soon. Tomorrow night, we have something great in store for all of the ladies that will be participating in the girls track. And I just want to say thank you all for showing up, and let's have the most powerful weekend as possible.
And so now we will have some words of inspiration under the theme, Lift Every Voice and Sing, if everyone would stand. Are we not ready for that?
Ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the glistening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Let us march on till victory is won. Let us march on till victory.
It's an honor to bring together all of you Black women leaders and allies from all across the country for 4.5, might as well say 5 days. We want to share. We want to celebrate. We want to strategize. We want to have some fun in Prince George's County. There's a lot to do. We're not going to talk about the other hotel down the way. Some people probably already know where it is. I'm not going to call the name. And it's so that we can empower, build power for and with our people. Black women, we have been responsible for a decisive power shift in our democracy. We are here today because of the collective power of Black women. From the history we made with the first Black South Asian Vice President, Kamala Harris, all the way to today, when we now have Ketanji Brown Jackson from D.C. by way of Miami, from what I understand, being nominated the first Black woman to sit on the U.S. Supreme Court, the highest court in the land that's messing with our rights these days. I have more that I'll share along the way, but I want to take a moment to thank all of those who we had a last-minute opportunity, and many of you all were traveling. But we want to let you know that today, a group of us, and those who went, just stand up or wave your hand. We had an opportunity to go on Capitol Hill to meet with Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who wanted to be here with us like she usually is, but those in the House of Representatives, the Democrats at least, on a retreat. So we went over there and met with, where's, I don't think we have Texas, but Florida in the house yet? So Congresswoman Val Demings was there. Oh, back up. Texas, we met with your Congresswoman today. We also met with Florida in the House, Congresswoman Val Demings. Missouri, I don't know if Missouri is, I know we got Missouri coming, but Congresswoman Cori Bush and Congresswoman, again, Florida, Sheila Sherfilis McCormick. And it was really, they really wanted, I wanted to make sure first to thank them for taking the time, because they really wanted to be here with us, and many others, but they won't be here. But they really laid it down and said, look them in the eye, tell them what we want, make sure we go see some Republicans, which we're going to do. Make sure, you know, our friends, some of you may be Republican, I don't know, I'm not judging where you are, but a lot of times we go to, quote unquote, our friends, and we have to go to people who represent us even if they don't want to. So those of you all who will be going on Capitol Hill tomorrow and who are able to get visits, because COVID is affecting a lot of that, make sure you stop by, if you can, to see if you have Republican senators who are going to spend the time in the Senate. And why the Senate? Because that's where they're not moving on so much legislation. Voting rights. Build Back Better. Right? Things that matter to us. Can't even begin to think about dealing with student loan debt. And all the things that we know our communities need. So we ought to show up at the Senate. The Senate is where Judge Jackson has to be confirmed. So you all will have your packets in the morning from Jocelyn and them to take those things with you on your way to Capitol Hill. So now, it is my honor and privilege and to say a big, big thank you to, oh my goodness, Dee. Before I do that, Angela, sorry. Dee Marshall, Dr. D.C. Marshall, founder, a.k.a. Fire Starter, Girlfriends Pray, will give also the inspiration. I'm moving it a little too fast. And then we'll bring my sister, my blood sister, all y'all my sisters, but I do have one blood sister in here. But this is my sister, Tanya Tyson. I'm going to give her a great round of applause, because this is my job, the wind beneath my wings, Vice President, Operations and Events Manager, and a resident of Prince George's County, Maryland, who, after Dee gives inspiration, will introduce our honorary chair. No, she's just our chair. And my sister, my sorrow, my friend, who runs this county, y'all. Stand up before I walk away. Runs this county, the Honorable Angela Brooks, County Executive of Prince George's County, Maryland. And Tanya is a resident, so we thought it'd be fitting to have Tanya to introduce. So Dee, Tanya, take it over, ladies.
Good evening, ladies. Good evening, ladies. Good evening, ladies. This doesn't sound like the room and the warriors and the generals that I know that are out pounding the pavement and advocating on behalf of our community. So one more time, good evening, ladies. Good evening. All right. Well, I am just going to offer up a word of encouragement, a word of prayer for those of you who pray. There is a word in Habakkuk 3:19, and stop. Okay, yes, there's a word in Habakkuk 3:19, and it says, he makes our feet like the feet of deer, and our feet were made to walk upon high places. The word says in Habakkuk 3:19, it says, he makes our feet like the feet of deer to walk upon high places, not to walk in high heels. And what I learned about, you got that? Listen. And what I learned about the feet of deer, Michelle, because I found that so interesting, is their feet were made in such a way that it is impossible to fall. Come on, somebody. I'm not the preacher, but I'm just sharing a word. And so we are here on this occasion to remember who we are. Our feet were made to walk upon high places. Our feet were made to walk upon high places. Our feet were made to walk upon high places. Our feet were made to walk upon high places, and seats have been made for us at the table. We are the table. And so there is no barrier. There is no barrier for us. And so we thank God tonight. I'm going to offer up this word of prayer so that we remember why we are here. And we remember why not only are we here tonight, but why it is that we breathe. And so let us go. Father, in the name of Jesus, we come before you now, God, to give honor and praise to your name. We thank you that you wired us together in such a way that it is impossible for us to fall. God, we may grow weary in well-doing, but it is impossible for us to fall. And even if we do, it is impossible for us to stay down. Now, for the ones who have traveled from Mississippi, from the ones who have come from Michigan, from the ones who have come from below the Mason-Dixon, God, for the one who has come from up top, we ask that you fill the room. We ask that you inspire and encourage. We ask that you would refill right now. We ask that you would give us power, oh Lord, to sit at the table. We ask that you bless the leaders in the room, the funders, oh God. We ask that you stretch your hands across the virtual space and those who are online to encourage them now to remember that our feet were made to walk upon high places. And so we thank you that we check ourselves at the door. We thank you that we leave our egos at the door. We thank you that we leave complaining at the door. We thank you that you allow for us to come into the room empty so we can leave full. We thank you that you are our refill and our fuel tonight. And so we love you, we honor you, we praise you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Well, hello. What would I say after this? Good evening, sisters and brothers. We have a few brothers in here tonight, and we would like to say thank you, and we see you. My name is Tanya Tyson. I'm the Vice President of Operations and Event Management at NCBCP. Thank you. So I don't know about you all, but I know finally after 2 years in Zoom boxes, I finally get to see so many powerful and phenomenal women here tonight in one room. Speaking of powerful women, we are so fortunate to have our honorary co-chair of the 11th Annual Women of Power National Summit. I'm a Prince George's County resident myself, and I would like to welcome our County Executive, Angela Alsabrook. Yesterday was International Women's Day. The month is Women Her Story Month. But black women, we already know, we make history 365 days a year. Okay? My county executive, Angela Alsabrook, embodies what this summit is about. Black women leaders who are bold, brilliant, and very empowered and willing to get in good trouble. Can we say this again? Willing to get in good trouble. So I would like to take a moment and ask everyone to stand and give this star a warm welcome. Prince George's County Executive, Angela Alsabrook.
This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire.
Good evening to the women warriors in this room tonight. Good evening to all of you. I can't tell you how excited I am. I can tell you we've been waiting for you. We have been waiting for you. We've been talking about this for the last 2 years, and I am so thrilled to have you in Prince George's County. And you know what? God has been wonderful to allow us to be together tonight. We can't forget his grace, and we already know that our feet were made to walk in high places. I almost feel like after we heard that, I can close the book and walk on out of here, right? Because we've already gotten our instructions. But I want to say good evening to all of you. Happy Women's History Month. And welcome to the opening session of the 11th Annual Black Women's Roundtable, Women of Power National Summit, and again, welcome to Prince George's County. I am so honored to serve as this year's honorary co-chair, and I want to thank a super bad woman. You all already know who I'm talking about, that Melanie Campbell. None quite like her, none quite like her. And she's president and CEO of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation and convener of the Black Women's Roundtable. And I want to thank her for the invitation to be a part of this amazing event. Again, we've talked about this for the last 2 years. We were ecstatic and hoping that we would be able to be together last year, and God had another plan. He had some work he had to do through COVID-19, and we were forced to meet virtually. But this year, we've made significant progress to get to the point where we are now able to gather in person. I can see your smiles, many of you, and so this is just so wonderful. And I think it's fitting as well that this year's theme for our gathering is rebuilding hope, justice, equity, and equality. And this pandemic, I believe, brought a lot of loss and destruction. However, it also exposed the inequities that exist in this country. You know, I've been saying to so many who said, oh, I feel so sorry for you. I spent the last 2 years of my term. This is my 3rd year as county executive, and 2 years of them I spent in COVID-19. But I've been telling them this is the moment we've been waiting for. And so we're not sorry for it. This is the moment that we've been waiting for. And so in spite of the challenges, I believe that we now have an opportunity to move forward. We can see the path in front of us. And so rebuilding hope, justice, equity, and equality, and making society better for everyone really is a part of what we've learned over the last 2 years. And it's important to think of the power of our vote within the context of hope, justice, equity, and equality, and that it is the foundation of all of the things that we strive to rebuild. For centuries, women like Ida B. Wells and Fannie Lou Hamer have worked to build access to the ballot. They've made so many contributions to this structure, to the structure of this nation, refusing to cower in the face of overwhelming racism. Lonnie Guinier was one of them. Many of you probably heard of Lonnie. In fact, we got some younger sisters in the room who may not have heard of Lonnie Guinier, but at 12 years old, she was inspired to become a lawyer when she watched on TV as NAACP attorney Constance Baker Motley pushed fearlessly through protesters to help integrate the University of Mississippi. Lonnie followed her inspiration and got to work. She joined the NAACP Legal Defense Fund and led their Voting Rights Project, and described her voting rights work to be intellectual, professional, and her own spiritual cause. The foundation of her work was her commitment to empower her community. She won 31 of the 32 cases that she tried, including significant voting rights victories against southern states, and worked on significant amendments to the Voting Rights Act. She believed strongly in ensuring that more minorities got placed in judicial appointments, a move that would significantly rebuild areas where inequities had long hurt so many of our communities. Lonnie was nominated to become the nation's first Black woman to lead the Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division in 1993. This was an opportunity for her to eliminate societal inequities on a larger scale. Unfortunately, and we're seeing this again yet today, opponents of progress stood in the way and forced her nomination to be withdrawn. Even so, her efforts changed countless lives. Lonnie is just one example of women that had a significant part in the structure of our society. Time and time again, women have proven to be the very foundation of this democracy. We don't run from the job. We walk towards it willingly, despite the resistance from those who oppose our progress. We do so because we are the ones with the tools necessary to rebuild hope, justice, equity, and equality in this society. Whether in positions or on the grassroots level, more and more of us are showing up with tools in hand. More and more, we recognize the power that we wield. Over the last 20 years, the percentage of Black women at voting age has increased by 31%. That's right, and Black women are now one of the most active voter blocs in the nation, and trust me, they know it. I saw it firsthand in the support that I received when I ran for Prince George's County State's Attorney and won. I felt the same support as I ran for county executive. Women from all across the county and the state came out, and you all know how they do, Lottie-Dottie, and everybody came out to volunteer, knock on doors, stand at polling places. In fact, at one of the polling sites that I went to on election day, one of the guys looked around and he said, "Damn, baby, these women kept coming from everywhere." Came like a tsunami to the polling places, and that's what we're still doing today. The same story continues to play out across the nation. Black women have shown up at the polls at higher rates than any other bloc for the past 5 presidential cycles. We saw the power of our vote rewarded in 2020 with the historic election of Vice President Kamala Harris. We're not a growing force, ladies. I want you to know that we're already a force right now. And this power is important because, unfortunately, the progress of rebuilding is a never-ending job. Rebuilding is only necessary after something is torn down. There's always damage that needs repairing in this democracy. In a nation so rooted in its history, forces are working to erase and rewrite the past. The opposition is strong, and sometimes it is frightening. Within Lonnie's lifetime, the Supreme Court chopped away at the power of the Voting Rights Act she helped to fortify. She passed away this past January, a year after the Capitol was overtaken by those who would rather dismantle our democracy than use their own secure to access the ballot. But black women have been in this fight from the very start. We've continued on through setbacks and significant gains. From the abolitionist movement to the fight for civil rights and beyond, someone has always been there to pick up the tools and continue the work when the time has come for others to lay it down. Builders like Stacey Abrams continue the restoration against voter suppression that Ida B. Wells and Fannie Lou Hamer started. As record numbers of voters participated in the 2020 general election, despite the pandemic and efforts to suppress the vote, I was proud that in Prince George's County, we helped our residents participate safely through voting by mail and other measures. We know that elections have immediate consequences. Lonnie Guinier may have been prevented from leading the Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division, but nearly 30 years later, Kristen Clark picked up the tools and is now leading the same department today. And the work of so many women was rewarded when President Biden nominated Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson to be the first black woman Supreme Court justice, with an opportunity to rebuild what Lonnie Guinier worked hard to bolster. Our vote is powerful, and it matters. This power gives us hope for the future, but we still have work to do if we're going to finish the job of rebuilding hope, justice, equity, and equality. We still need more of us in positions of influence to create public policy that produces equity and accomplishes equality. We have work to do to achieve a more diverse and fair justice system. More black women have been appointed as federal judges in recent years, but black women still only make up less than 6% of all federal judges. And as active as we are as a voting bloc, our faces aren't reflected enough in the candidates in office. Women in general make up 50% of the population, but only hold about a quarter of the seats in Congress. While a record number of black women were elected to Congress in 2020, they still make up less than 5% of Congress, and they're all in the House of Representatives. This means that Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson faces a nomination process from a Senate that has the same number of black women that it did before Vice President Harris became senator, 0. The job only gets harder as lawmakers in state houses across the nation responded to the 2020 general election by intensifying efforts to suppress the power of our vote. We must do more, but we can't do it alone. The tradition continues of women picking up what others have left off, and someone right now is watching how you work. Just like Lonnie Guinier was inspired by Constance Baker Motley, the next builder may be learning from how you are using your tools. A lot of women, both here and across the nation, view us as their inspiration. For those of us in positions of leadership, we know what it takes to get to where we are, and it's up to us to prepare those who will come after us. Years ago, I interned with Delegate Eleanor Holmes Norton in her office in Washington, D.C. She was an important mentor for me early on. She would often take me to her committee meetings, and she'd talk to me about her experiences and gave me advice on how to get started in public service. She prepared me to use the tools that I would need when the time came. So I was ready when the residents of Prince George's County trusted me to be the first woman county executive. I'm now able to find ways to build an equitable system for our residents, and I'm proud that in my cabinet, I'm surrounded by talented women equipped with the tools to build. You should know that in our government here in Prince George's County, well, my soror Melanie will tell you, we have Fire Chief Tiffany Green, a woman who came up through the fire service after 23 years. You should know that Tiffany Green started as a volunteer in our fire department, worked every position in that fire department. And when it came time for me to select a fire chief, guess what I learned? Tiffany has scored #1 on every single promotional exam she had ever been given in the fire department. And she stands now as the first woman to serve as fire chief in this administration and only the 9th African-American fire chief in our country's history. We have also in our government, thank you, our chief administrative judge, Sheila Tillerson Adams. We have a female state's attorney, Aisha Braveboy. We have also the chief administrative officer, the communications director, our county's attorney are all African-American women in Prince George's County. The head of our school system, Dr. Monica Golson, and it goes on and on and on. So this means that the hope is there for us and that somebody is watching us. Author and activist Audre Lorde said it well when she wrote, "When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then becomes less and less important whether I am afraid." When we stand strong in support of each other, there's nothing we can't do. Let's dare to be bold, let's dare to be powerful, and let's dare to keep moving forward no matter what the obstacles are that we face. Thank you all again for being a part of this national summit and for the work that you are already doing. I'm so heartened to see all of you. May God continue to bless all of you, and may God continue to bless the work of our hands. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to welcome to the stage Diane Babineau and Reverend Tony Lee for greetings. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome Diane Babineau, Vice Chair of the Board of NCBCP, and Reverend Tony Lee, Board Member of NCBCP and a pastor of the Community of Hope, AME in Temple Hills.
On behalf of the board, I want to welcome you. There's so many beautiful faces out there, and women are here to stay, and we're going to make a point to get you energized. And I want to thank my county exec from Prince George's County. I'm a Bowie resident, and I want to thank you. Next, we will have Reverend Lee to bring the greetings on behalf of the board.
Sisters, it's so good to see you. You look wonderful this evening. Give yourselves a hand. On behalf of the Board of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, I do bring you greetings. We do want to celebrate one of the greatest leaders this world has ever seen, Sister Melanie Campbell. Come, y'all make some noise for Melanie. We are so grateful for her leadership. And Melanie, we want you to know the board is just so proud of you. We are godly proud of you and the work you do all over this nation. You make us look well, and you make us look smart. So thank you so much for making us look so smart. Shout out to the county executive of Prince George's County. It's so good to see my dear sister, my good friend. Come on, give God a hand clap of praise for county exec Angela Also Brooks. Now, to close out, welcome to my hood. I'm Prince George's. Welcome to my hood, sisters. I've seen you all over the nation, but we are glad to have you here in Prince George's County in what we call gorgeous Prince George's. And so we want you all to enjoy yourselves, but we also want you to understand these are significant times, and you all are who we need for these times. That we need the sisters to roll up their sleeves and to push us forward into the great places we have to go as a people. You all are our best. And so on behalf of the board, we thank you for taking this time, and we are expecting the world will be better because some women got together and handled the business. God bless you. We appreciate you.
Just sorry, without further ado, I would like for all the board members to stand up. Will you please, so we can give them a round of applause. Please stand up, board members. Okay, let's give national board members and part of the Black Women's Roundtable. Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I see some of my colleagues out there. So with further ado, we want to thank you again for coming to this great conference.
All right, can we give our illustrious chair of this year's summit a round of applause? And thank you to our board members as well, those who spoke and those in the room and those who are watching virtually. That's who I work for, you know, and I couldn't do this without a board. And when you mess up and forget that, you won't be there long. God has blessed me, not to run the organization, but to spend a lot of my life with the coalition. I've been there 27 years, to stay 18 months. So thank you to all the board. And now the next phase of this launch, if you will, opening night, we want to thank, because y'all love the sage. And it was really reasonable, be clear. We're frugal. But even to do this, it takes resources. It takes some money. And to be able to provide the summit that any of our sisters that want to show up, because $85 don't pay for but one meal, maybe one. 20 show don't pay it. But we decided when we first started this that we wanted to make it easy on ramp, because we wanted the summit to be more than about the hard work that you do every day, but also a place to come and take a woosah moment. So we've been blessed over the years to have sponsors who've stepped up, and we get resources from them. So those resources for those who came with delegations is because you have partners and sponsors who believe in that vision, that if we're saying a power table, then the power table shouldn't have any barriers to it. So we want to thank a few of our sponsors and partners, and I'll start first with our sister board member, Becky Pringle, President, National Education Association, and then following her, Michelle Dubois, President, Values Partnerships, who's a mom of 3, do you need to get home to the babies? Because I know it's tight. Okay, I forgot. Okay, so our sister, Becky Pringle, who is, let me say this again, President of the National Education Association, NEA. Come on up. And following her, we will have our sister Michelle Dubois.
Oh, hey, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I want history to remember me not just as the first Black woman to be elected to Congress, not as the first Black woman to have made a bid for the presidency of the United States, but as a Black woman who lived in the 20th century and dared to be herself. Ooh, Shirley Chisholm owned her power. Good evening, everyone. Can I just say, I was in the Renaissance. Mel, as soon as I came into the room, I was like, there is nothing like being in the company of proud, brilliant Black women. Nothing. And some good Black men. I stand before you this evening representing the 3 million members of the largest labor union in this country, the National Education Association. I bring you their strength, their power, their support, and all that they do for the students throughout this country. And I need you to know that we share with you one really important goal: to ensure not some, not a few, but every single student in this country has what they need and what they deserve to live into their brilliance. Know that the members of the NEA are embracing your proud and powerful theme: we are owning our power. Let me just, as I must, take a moment to recognize one phenomenal woman, someone, and I know most of you know this, but one of the things that's really near and dear to my heart is that she does the work, and she is intentional about cultivating intergenerational leadership. You know, not everyone can do that or understands why that's important. She is committed in everything she does to empowering the next generation of leaders, especially our Black women. She has motivated, organized, and mobilized our communities around civil rights and economic empowerment and voting rights and racial and social justice. My sister, my good friend Mel, who shows up every single day owning her power. Give it up for Melanie Campbell. Give it up, give it up. Oh my goodness! So as I stand up here and look at this incredible room, can I just say, the view from up here is magnificent. As I look at all of you beautiful and bold and brown, inspiring Black women in the audience, from our Honorable Angela, also Brooks, thank you for sharing your history. But also thank you for welcoming us here to the county. We are all very proud of you. Can I say, I don't live in this county, but I claim you anyway. I just want to say that. I know all about what you're doing. And of course, our Honorable Chair of the Summit, to all of the other colleagues that have joined us here or virtually, we are strong, and we are powerful, and we sure are resilient. You know, behind every major movement in this nation, there have been strong, resilient Black women. We know that. From the women's suffrage movement, which we don't get a lot of play in that place. We know that. You know, they made us march at the back. You remember that, right? But Ida B. Wells, of course, and Mary Church, right? And the icons of the civil rights movement, of course, Coretta Scott King in her own right, Fannie Lou Hamer, and Dorothy Height. Yeah, give it up for Dorothy, right? To you, our courageous women who are in this moment standing. You're standing up to ensure free and fair access to the vote. We all have watched and worked alongside and lifted up and supported Joyce Beatty and Janice Mathis and Latasha Brown and, of course, Stacey Abrams and Miss Mel. It has been Black women who have carried us and continue to insist and persist. We've continued to break down barriers to ensure that we have access and opportunity. We continue to hold our heads high, and we continue to stay connected and committed to ensuring this world is better for our babies. I can't help but consider, as we think about our collective strength and power and resilience, You know, when I see the young faces in this audience tonight, that our young people are witnessing, honestly, I don't know about you, but they're witnessing something that I didn't ever think I'd see in my life, ever. The nomination of a black woman to the Supreme Court of the United States of America, I didn't think I'd ever see it. And Ketanji Brown Jackson? Ain't no mistake in there. Just saying. When I look at the story of Judge Jackson, I see the reflection of myself. Her story is my story. Her story is your story. As a mother, as a product of public schools, as a child of public school educators, her story is my story. As someone who was discouraged by a counselor to apply to reach schools, can I get a witness? Her story is my story. The barriers that she had to overcome and continues to be placed in her way. Her story is our story. She is strong and she is powerful and she is resilient. But let me tell you something. She needs us and we will be there. Every American, no matter their background, color, or gender, believe in the promise of equal justice under the law. For generations, we have been locked out of far too many opportunities. But with this nomination of Judge Jackson, we are taking a step toward making our justice system one that respects and reflects and protects all Americans. We know that to just get the nomination of Judge Jackson, she had to be a brilliant jurist. Come on. She had to be highly qualified. You know what I'm saying. She had to have impeccable credentials. Had to be. But of course, she went beyond that, right? She used her preparation and her training as a champion for everyday Americans. Carefully applied the law to working people across race and place and origin. As I stand before you tonight, let me tell you that as president of the NEA, I have made this my priority to get her nomination over the line. And I know that you are standing with me to do just that. We are taking nothing for granted. We are going to speak up and we're going to call out when they say things about her to tear her down or destroy her. We will be there lifting her up. And we will tell her story because her story is our story. I knew I was in the right place. Collectively, we must stand rooted in our strength and our power and our resilience because we will meet this moment. Fellow black women, and a few good black men. We never have and we will never be afraid to stand in our power. We never have and we never will be afraid to fight for what we need and what we deserve. We never have and we never will be afraid to use our voice to speak up for what's right,
to demand our seat at the table and plan the menu. We will use our collective action to create that just future for our children and for our families and for our communities. We will dare to be our beautiful, brilliant, brave, bold selves. We will dare to be ourselves. Powerful. Because this is what we know. We must show up with our power every single day. Because our babies, our children, are depending on us to be worthy of them. Thank you so very much for all you have done and all I know you will do to claim and always live in your power.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the stage Michelle Dubois, President of Values Partnership, who will be speaking on behalf of Sephora. Welcome, Michelle.
The mic is still hot. It's very hot. Woo, thank you, sis. I needed that. What a Wednesday. Pick up. Thank you. Woo. Our sis has just set us on fire. But good evening. It's so good to be here with you all this evening. I can't believe this is my 10th summit now of 11. I've been here for 10 of them. And I'm so grateful for all the work that you do, Mel. As Mel said, my name is Michelle Dubois, and I am a Prince George's County resident. Thank you, Executive Ossobrook, for being here. Welcome to our hood, our beautiful hood. We're grateful to have you all here. I am a mom of 3, and I am the co-founder and president of Values Partnerships. Our firm works with a range of clients to help them connect to communities of color to advance our common good and the public good. A lot of times people ask me, what does that look like? I bring the money as best as I can. So I make sure that the things that we care about are supported. And so I just want to say, Mel, on behalf of our company, on behalf of Sephora USA, we thank you for the work that you do, the tireless work day in and day out, year after year, issue after issue. We don't care what it is. We know you will be at the forefront, leading our people, raising our voices, making sure that we are in the room and that we are seen. I don't care if it's education reform, voting rights, equal pay, access to affordable health care. Whatever the issue is, Mel will be there, and she's bringing all of us. And she is the convener of a network that spans across this vast country to make sure that our communities are represented. We are so thankful for the work that you do. I thank you for all the sis in the room that are doing the work in the community day in, day out. We couldn't do this without you. Thank you for your shared and collective vision and love for our people. We know that this work is fueled by love because every gain is not easy, and every gain that we get, we have to fight to hold. And so we thank you for the work that you do. I pray that this summit is a place that is replenishing for you, that you can come and iron sharpens iron, and that you find your tribe here that will say, sis, when you feel like you have hit the brick wall, they say, keep going because our people are counting on you. So whatever you need to do, find replenishment, find those people that will say, keep going. We are counting on you. Our babies are counting on you. Mel said I had to go home because I got 3 little ones. I have to be here because I have 3 little ones, right? Thank you. Thank you for the work that you do for my kids. I appreciate it. I am here with you shoulder to shoulder. I look forward to the good trouble that's ahead. And as our sister said, our feet cannot fail. And our brother said, because the women got together, something changed. Thank you, guys. I look forward to seeing you all again next year and working with you throughout the year.
Let's welcome to the stage Tanya.
Don't take my part. Let me take This is my part. Then you can call them again. Thank you, Becky. And I know you got a lot going on carrying that powerful load, but you wear it well. We thank you. And this young sister came to D.C. from Chicago, by way of Chicago. And what I like about Michelle, and those who know her, you know how people like, they quiet. You may not even notice them, but they'll cut you. Don't make them mad. Don't let that smile fool you. But she came and ended up in the Obama administration, stopped by for a few minutes to help us with Black Women's Roundtable, and just love to see how you soared, and I just love watching your babies grow up, and your hubby and family. We're family, and I really appreciate you because they'll call you. I didn't know nothing about Sephora. I had a lot of things. Those of you who may have saw my face sis on Times Square, this sister, her hubby, and network opened the doors to so many of us and walked in the door to say, now I'm bringing them in the door, not so y'all can just hand them a check and say, thank you, thank you, thank you. No, we come in the door because y'all got some, Barbara, some racial equity issues. Y'all got some discrimination issues. Goldman Sachs, I sit on that advisory council. I just got to let folks know who you are and how you share. And her and husband called me and said, you want me to do what? You want me to sit on the Goldman who? Right? Well, why? Okay. But I trusted them. And it is about trust. And so when they say, now, look at this, I trust them. It don't take much. He called me on the plane. They were going out of the country somewhere. And I said, if y'all think I need to do it, I'll do it. So what? Goldman Sachs will be here. Goldman has a, what is it, $10 billion focus on black. I say, get a B. $10 billion. $10 billion focus on black women. Finally, ladies who've been calling us for the last year, and Goldman will be here, you can go and apply for funds for your local community, focus on black women. They have $100 million philanthropy, and you'll hear more about this over the week, but they also are spending $10 billion in investing in black women. So this sister, her firm, opened the door and have us at that power table, not to just sit up there and close the door, but to be in there to speak truth to power as needed and challenge Sephora and challenge Goldman, who's doing great work. But we understand how all this played out. It's groups like her, leaders like her, who are quiet storms making it happen. So I know that wasn't on the script, but I had to let folks know why we just really love you, Michelle. Next, we have another. She may not be so quiet because she's a lawyer, so she knows how to talk the talk, walk the walk, but she has a smile of, I run at home. One day we ran on the street, we ran each other on the corner, and we said, girl, we got to get together, and we have never stopped, right? And this sister, I know a lot of other things about her past, but today she is Tanya Clayhouse, Senior Program Officer, State Infrastructure Fund, Neo Philanthropy. Another sister, she comes from Lawyers Committee and People for the American Way. She also was in the Obama administration Civil Rights Division of the Department of Education. Did I got that right? Oh, see, I still, what's that thing that you take? I don't take it yet, but I'm about to start taking it. Prevagen or yeah. Oh, 2 hours sleep. This is what's happening, so y'all forgive me. But Tanya Clayhouse, Senior Program Officer, she's another one. She got in there, and she opened up and said, no, y'all need to widen this table. There are a whole lot of other folks out here getting the work done. And she has been just a blessing to not just the National Coalition, but those who know who's invested in your work and your leadership are out here. So we will hear from our sister partner, Tanya Clayhouse. Following Tanya is April Barrett. Is there April in the house? Oh, shoot, I didn't see you over there. All the way from Cali. all the way from Cali. April Verrett, President, SEIU 2015, the state of California, and she is a powerhouse, not just inside of SEIU. I feel like I've known you. We only got a chance to really get to know each other the last few months, and I know we're going to do great and powerful things. Thank you for taking that trip all the way over, and know you got a crazy schedule too. And so we will hear from our sister April Verrett, and following her lastly with our partners for tonight, Angela Manso, National Outreach Director, National Resources Defense Council, NRDC. Just getting to know this sister who's been supporting Black You Vote. Thank her, and we will hear from them in that order. That's Tanya Clay House, April Verrett, and Angela Manso. Thank you.
How y'all doing? See, I feel like it's been a long time since I've seen y'all. This actually is my this is my first big event since COVID. And I have to admit, it's a pleasure to see faces, to see you all. I actually ran in, where is she? I don't know if she's here. One of my colleagues, Rita Victorin, there she is. So I only know Arita over Zoom because we hired her 2 years ago. I didn't know that young lady is 5'10". She looked at me and I was like, who are you? And so this is what we've been going through. So I'm so happy and I'm glad to see everybody here today. Again, my name's Tanya Clay House. I am the Senior Program Officer with the State Infrastructure Fund. I manage our voting rights portfolio as well as our litigation collaborative. I am an attorney by trade, but I am recovered, and I have been working within the policy sector. I have been working in the legislative sector, as Mel indicated, and I worked in the Obama administration under the Department of Education. I now have the privilege of working in philanthropy, and it has been a joy to be able to work with so many of those that I used to be on the ground with, that I used to be on the other side begging for assistance. And the reason that I came into this field is so I could do exactly what Mel was talking about. I'm going to start with this quote, and then I'm going to explain this a little bit more, because this is what leads me every day. And I'm going to change it up a little bit, because this whole man thing, I'm going to change it to a woman. You do not take a woman who has for years been hobbled by chains, liberate her, bring her to the starting line of a race, say you are free to compete with all others, and still justly believe you have been completely fair. We seek not just freedom, but opportunity, not just equality as a right and a theory, but equality as a fact and as a result. That's one of my mottos. It's a motto because, for me, it's equality of opportunity. It is, and that means something. That's not just equity. That is, you take somebody and you make sure you bring them. You do whatever is necessary to make sure they have equality of opportunity. And so for me, coming into philanthropy meant just that. It meant that when I looked at the stage, I said, wait a minute. You don't have this, and over here. Where are all my people that I've been working with, that I know on the ground? Where is Mel? Where is NAA? Where is Helen? I mean, actually, where is more of Helen in Georgia? Where are all of these organizations that I knew existed on the ground that I've been working with? I said, why are we not supporting our women of color-led organizations that have been doing this work for so long? So it's been a privilege for me. Mal called me and told me I saw the summit was happening. I saw the date, and I was scared. I was like, I can't call her and tell her I'm not going to be here this weekend. And I knew, because I normally do the luncheon, and she said, there was the assumption I would be there. And normally, I'm with you all the entire time. I am, like Michelle, I'm a mother. I have 2 young children, and for some reason in my spare time, I also started a track program. So I am a coach of a track team. And I am taking my team to the Indoor National Junior Olympics this weekend. So as a former track runner, I said this is just something I needed to do to provide opportunity for my kids, but also other kids in Northern Virginia who just didn't know even anything about this. We've come back with All-Americans. We've come back. My son's an All-American. I'm very proud. Let me just say that. But the point is that's why I can't be with you all this weekend. But I do have my colleague here, Rita. Cynthia Swan, who is also consulting with me, will be coming and she'll be speaking on the panel as well. But then I told Mel that, and she said, well, wait a minute. We got something going on Wednesday. I said, Mel. She said, when are you leaving? I said, Thursday. And she said, okay, what about you? I was like, okay, Mel, I could do that. I'm going to come in because it's you all. Because I know what it means. And I wanted to explain and make sure you all understand that, look, there's a reason that I've been doing this work. There's a reason. I truly believe God led me into philanthropy to be able to support the people that I see in this room today. I truly believe that this was a calling that I had to answer. I don't know where things will lead from here, but I know that since I've been at the State Infrastructure Fund, we have increased our funding, and we are now we have 85% of our grants are going to BIPOC-led organizations. My colleague and I, Paige Gleason, have been diligently and very determined in trying to make sure that happened, and making sure that we've been in the field. We know what it's like. We've been trying to support and make sure we understood, like you all understood that, look, we get it. You all need money to do the work that you've already been doing, and we need to continue to support you so you're not living in this mentality of scarcity. Why is it that people think, and that philanthropy thinks, that you all can get by with 20,000 when these other organizations can get down with 150,000? I said, that's not right. So our standard bearer has increased. If we're going to come and support you, we've increased the amount that we're supporting you at. This is the level we're coming in, and we're not coming in just for 1 year. We're coming in for the long term to support you all. And we hope to continue to do that. So it has been a privilege. I do this work, as I said, because I believe in equality of opportunity. I have, as I said, I have 2 sons, black boys. And I know what it means to make this, and why we need to make this world a better place. I know why we need to ensure that we have an inclusive democracy. I understand the fear that so many of us have, not only for our children. I have a black husband who I'm worried about getting stopped by the police. He just told me the last time, he said, why am I scared that this police officer is right here? And I said, this is the life, this is the world we live in. I don't even like walking into a store because people follow me, and I'm like, do I look like I'm about to take something? But that's the world we live in, and my children are still trying to understand and conceive of that. And I hate that I have to continue to explain to him that when he's with, my oldest is with his other friends who are majority, and they do something, and he does something, he's not going to get the same discretion that they get. And I had to have that talk with him. He's 12 years old. I had to have that talk with him 4 years ago when somebody stole the election, and I had to let him know because he's tall and he looked like a grown man already. And I had to say to him, I need you to understand something because I just need you to come home. And so for me, this is personal. for me, there's a reason that I do this work. I've been in many different, I've taken career path. It's been in different ways. I'm like, Tanya, where are you going? I was like, I don't know, wherever God leads me. I don't know where this is where I'm headed. And right now, I'm in philanthropy. And I'm going to do what I can to continue to support you all. Voting rights is critical. It is a connector of all the issues that we are working on. If you believe in education, I worked at the Department of Education. I believe fundamentally in that equality of opportunity, that education is fundamental to what it is that we need and how it is we survive in this society. I believe that we can't achieve that unless we provide that public, free, quality public education to all of our children. But we can't do that if we don't have the right people in office that are providing the funding and the resources in order to make sure that our school boards are distributing those resources equitably, and that we have people in office that understand the difference of actually critical race theory and what it actually means, and not this misinformation and disinformation campaign that is going on right now that has led to, I'm nonpartisan, but different results that happened in Virginia as a result of the fact that people didn't understand what race in schools really means. I'm sorry, critical race theory just means you're teaching history. That's all this is, y'all. Get it straight. Critical race theory has been around for decades. I'm sorry, y'all just getting hip to it. That's your problem, not ours. The point is that this is history. Learn it, understand it, recognize that this is where we are as a society. The fact, this is not about guilt, laying guilt. This is about making sure that you all recognize what it is that we need to be doing in order to make this a better society. And if you can't take that, then you need to educate yourself and stop asking me to talk and educate you. Go do what you need to do to educate yourself. If you believe in criminal justice, if you believe in the need to reform our justice system, because it's not actually criminal justice right now. Our justice system is not, our system is not just. If you believe in the need to reform policing in America, if you believe in the need to reform our immigration policies, if you believe in the need to reform our employment law and employment discrimination policies, if you believe in fair housing, all of those, if you believe in that, then you need to understand how critical the vote is. We have over 400 voter suppression bills that were passed in state legislatures, or introduced, excuse me. And we have so many that were passed across the states. We are dealing with that right now. You all are dealing with that. I'm here to help you deal with this on the ground. I'm here to help provide and make sure we have a strategy in place. And I'm here to educate the other funders who don't maybe get and understand what it needs, what it takes to do this work. 2020 was a success. You know why we have even more voter suppression laws? Because 2020 was a success. Because you all did what is necessary. Because we funded you all, because you all were already doing the work. And so there's a calling. We all have a calling. And I think that it's incumbent upon all of us to recognize and trust in that. I am trying to do that every day. God help me. My children challenge me. I love them dearly, but they challenge me. But I'm doing it because I recognize that we have to have a better society. And so I come here today encouraging you to keep up the good work, to keep moving and to keep pushing, that there are people like myself that do exist. We may not be as many as we should. We're still working on that. But believe you me, I am doing what I can, and know my colleagues are doing what we can to educate and make sure larger philanthropy knows what is necessary to help support you all. It's always been a pleasure to be with the Black Women's Roundtable and to be at that table around and seeing so many strong Black women. And so I thank you for allowing me the time. Thank you, Mel. And I had to be here, yes. My children looked at me and said, where are you going? And I said, I have to go talk to some people. They said, okay, good luck. I was like, thank you. And I had to come talk to you all because it's important. It's that important. And I will head out to Virginia Beach. Wish me well. I hope our children come back with some more All-American status. But what I am going to say, and I'm going to leave you with this. I started with the quote, I'm going to leave you with this. Because I recognize that we have to understand that in order to move forward, we got to let some things go and also make sure we understand the lessons of the past so we don't repeat them. Because I always get to where I'm going by leaving where I've been. Winnie the Pooh. Thank you very much.
You know that thing, that love thing. Make me wanna sing.
Good evening, sisters. I said good evening, sisters. It is such an honor and a pleasure. Like, I really, really mean that. It is such a pleasure to be in a room full of beautiful, bold, amazing Black women. And a few of you guys, too. I am April Verrett, and I wear a few hats. I'm the president of SEIU Local 2015. Thank you. Where we represent 400,000 long-term care workers across the state of California, home care and nursing home workers. And I'm in LA now, but I'm a Chicago girl, and that wind blew up my skirt out there. I'm just gonna have to tell you, I was like, oh, I forgot what that felt like. But I am a proud, proud Southside girl, and happy to announce it in any and everywhere I go. I also serve as a national vice president for SEIU. Our national union represents 2 million workers across this country. And President Pringle, I want her to hear me, so I'm gonna wait. President Pringle, thank you, thank you, thank you for leading the way for women like me in labor. Thank you. And I want to just talk about a few things, but it's real. Oh, wait. Thank you, Melanie Campbell. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your sisterhood. Somebody has to be consistent in bringing us together, and you have worn that mantle proudly, and you serve us well. I'm not going to be up here long, but I really want to talk about a few things. And the first is that I need us to learn, get inspired, build up some courage, because we can't just be about the work in this room. We have to be about the work when we go home. In our communities, in our neighborhoods, at our sister girlfriends' porch, wherever we sip our tea or that cocktail, whatever you do. We have to be about it in our church basements, in our community halls, in our neighborhoods, in our cities and counties and states, because our nation, our world needs us to be about the work. And our marching orders, I think, are clear. We have to make sure Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson becomes Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. And that is going to take a lot of work, because we know they are already coming after her, asking where her papers at. Where are yours? Right? Where are yours? The sister deserves to receive that appointment, and we have to make sure we have her back and that she gets it. We also cannot take our foot off the gas, and though it may not happen this year because we got some spineless people in the U.S. Senate, I'm going to call it like it is, some spineless, downright racist, son of a guns, I'm going to try to keep it clean, in the U.S. Senate, who are going to prevent us from passing voting rights. But we cannot allow them to win. This is our country. This is our democracy. Way too much of our blood has been spilled and shed in the service of building this country. I will be darned, we should be darned if we allow them to take our democracy from us. We have yet to taste all of the freedom that this country has promised us. But we must fight to live on, to make sure our children and our children's children know real freedom in this country, and that starts with us and our right to vote. We cannot take our foot off the gas. We also must make sure that some version of Build Back Better, a Build Better Greater, a Bill for Families, whatever they want to call it, right? Notice they don't say Build Back Better no more. They say forget that, right? But we got to make sure some version of an investment in child care for our children, an investment in home and community-based services for our seniors, right? Lower the cost of prescription drugs, invest in real climate change to make this a green economy so that our children can have some clean air to breathe and some clean water to drink. That's what Build Back Better is about, right? And we have to know that. The members that I represent, mainly home care workers, have been doing the work of caring for seniors and people with disabilities, and in a state as expensive as California, still make $15 an hour. This bill is about investing in them and the work that they do so that we can build a brand new American middle class centered around people that look like me, right? Centered around people that look like us. And we can do that with a real investment in passing Build Back Better, right? So let's not forget Ketanji Brown Jackson, voting rights, Build Back Better, and immigration reform. Hear me, sisters, hear me. When black women lead, we don't just lead for ourselves. We never just lead for ourselves. We lead for all of us. And so let's remember the immigrants in this country that need us to help them come out of the shadows and have an ability to live full lives. But here's the kicker. What they don't talk about is that the immigrants that fare the worst look like us. God, I pray for blessings for the people of Ukraine, and I hope that justice comes soon. But it didn't take them long to pass TPS for Ukrainians. It didn't take them long to say, come on over here, we're going to make a way for them. Our Haitian sisters and brothers, our Sudanese sisters and brothers, right, are still struggling to find a way to get to this country. That is what the immigration fight is about for us. Don't let them divide us and tell us it ain't for us. It is about us too. So we have to make sure real immigration reform happens in this country and that it includes people from the Caribbean and from the continent of Africa. Right? Those are the issues that matter in our communities and that are on the table for conversation right now at the federal level. And let's make them issues we talk about in our cities and our counties and our state governments as well. And this is what I want to close with. Let's build the skills. Let's do the work. Let's build the power, sisters, in a way that makes sure our dear Madam Vice President is not the first and the only. Let's make sure Judge Ketanji Brown is not the first and the only. It's great when we get our first, right? We celebrate it. But I want it to be a time where we stop talking about the first, right? I want to leave a world where it is the norm, the status quo, that we get any and every damn thing we want and deserve. And that comes from building our power, sharing our power, giving our power away so that we build our sisterhood, because there is not anything we can't do together. So let's go get it. I love you.
Hello, this is my first outing this year at an in-person event, and I can't think of a better group of people to spend it with, so good evening. I'm honored to represent NRDC, the Natural Resources Defense Council, at the Black Women's Roundtable Women of Power Annual Summit here at the beautiful Gaylord Hotel. Thank you to the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, Melanie Campbell, and your amazing team for organizing this gathering and inviting us to be sponsors of the summit. It is a privilege for NRDC to be a partner to the National Coalition and supporter of the critical civic engagement and empowerment work it does in communities across the country. Because we recognize that this work is necessary for our ability to do our work. For NRDC, our work is to safeguard the earth, its people, its plants and animals, and the natural systems in which all life depends. Because we know that a healthy environment means a healthy person. So we honor the labor of your labor through the years to protect the right to vote, to make sure Black Americans can participate fully in our nation's democracy, to mobilize our communities and ensure that we have a seat at the table when critical decisions about our future are made, to build the capacity of individuals to forge stronger economic foundations for Black communities, and to guide our youth and provide them the tools to realize the potential and become leaders of the future. But tonight especially, we honor the work and commitment to develop, mentor, and support Black women leaders of all ages. And we honor the women who are leading and serving in our local communities, in urban, suburban, and rural areas, and in the private and public sector, and hopefully soon in the highest court of the land. For all of this and more, thank you. The women of power present tonight work to engage and activate their communities across the country. They fight for equity and social justice and economic empowerment, and they win. We at NRDC want to join with you to bring the same fight to deliver environmental justice and climate action to our frontline communities across the nation. We want to work with you to help reduce the cumulative impact of pollution in our communities. We want to work with you to ensure that we don't suffer another water crisis such as our brothers and sisters did in Flint, Michigan. Because frankly, folks, not to be the downer at our party tonight, but that was merely the tip of the iceberg. So there is lots of work to do, and we certainly want to do it with you. So again, we know that working together, we can't lose. Thank you for inviting us, and I wish you the best in this very productive summit, and I am certain that this will not be my last Black Women's Roundtable. So thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the stage Lisa Fager, Senior Advisor, Resource Development and Program Management of NCBCP. Welcome.
All right, everybody, let's get up and move a little bit. Come on, music, let's do something. Come on, give me something. Beyonce, Bay, something. Give me something. We need to move. We got to take this up. We about to get the affiliates in this. Okay, so just know if you are a convener, you about to be on the stage, okay? So, everybody, I'm Lisa Fager, and I have, okay, DJ, drop it. Thank you. All right, I just wanted to get us a little bit more before we get to the good stuff. Okay, so, I'm Lisa Fager. I said that 10 times, right? And so here we are. We're all at the BWR Black Women a Power Talk table. We're all part of the table. And so I'm going to welcome our first folks up here, our first Black women's raising the states in the Midwest. So we're going to bring up Michigan and Ohio. Please welcome. Now, I know a lot of folks might not have gotten here yet, so hopefully they're here, and some people are virtual. So I'm going to welcome Tamika Ramsey, convener of Metro Detroit and Eastern Michigan, BWR, and the Michigan Coalition on Black Civic Participation. The Honorable Stephanie Moore Williams, convener of Kalamazoo, Michigan, BWR, and Mothers of Hope. Zakia Brown, coordinator, Eastern Michigan, Metro Detroit, BYV. Oh, see, this word glasses on top of my head, that ain't gonna help. Sequoia Howard, coordinator, East Michigan, Metro Detroit, Black Youth Vote. Come on up. Amira Moore, Kalamazoo, Michigan, Black Youth Vote, Mothers of Hope, and Petey Talley. Come on. Woo! Is this okay? Where am I, Michigan? Okay, well, you know what? This is going to be about Tamika. Tamika, I want you to tell me what's going on.
The moment I laid eyes
How y'all doing? I'm doing all right. So I just wanted to report out on Michigan, and I see Tanya leaving. I love you. She is amazing and has made a difference in Michigan. So I am the convener of Black Women's Roundtable Metro Detroit, and I am the chair of the Michigan Coalition on Black Civic Participation. And in Michigan, we have been fighting literally for our lives in the BIPOC communities. We have never in the state of Michigan had voter suppression the way that we have in the last 2 years. My parents moved to Michigan from Mississippi, and my mother said, I moved away from this. I did not want to deal with this. I did not want my kids to have to deal with this. And now she has grandkids and great-grandkids dealing with this. So we had 39 voter suppression bills that were introduced. They made it illegal for us to drive people to the polls. Yes. We had a big program, and the next day, if we did it, we would go to jail. They are working to dismantle. They were doing disinformation, called people in Detroit and said, if you vote by mail, then the child support agencies will come and arrest you. Had people scared to vote absentee. These are the things that we're dealing with every single day in Michigan. And because of Black Women's Roundtable, because of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, we have been able to call over 300,000 people to encourage them to vote, to remind them to vote. Because of our relationship with our C3 table at Michigan Voices, Black Women's Roundtable and the Michigan Coalition are a part of a vaccination program where we are calling people and knocking on their doors and talking to them. Because the first child who died of COVID was a Black girl from Detroit. 7 years old, only child of her parents. But we're scared because the disinformation is hard. And so we have been working really hard to make sure we're doing education and outreach. The most important thing that we do, we don't leave. We don't go away. When elections are over, we're still there. We're still on the ground. When it's an off year, it's still an on year for Black people. That's why I say, what's an off year? Does that mean that I become a white woman and get more, I don't know, stuff? No, I'm Black every day. Right, my husband, my children are Black every day. And so we have to work every day. But you know what Melanie said? If we ain't got no money, what we doing? And because of Black Women's Roundtable, because of the National Coalition, because of SIFT, we have been able to hit more doors, to talk to more people, and not tell them who to vote for, because some of these people just ratchet, right? It's just like, whether they look like me or not, they ratchet. I ain't lying. I'm going to get your number. We're going to talk after this, girl. We just inform and educate people. Give us what we need. Help us understand and let us do what we need to do. I tell people all the time, don't try to come help the niggers. That's what I tell them. That's what I say. Because we don't need no help. You move out of our way and we going to make it happen. What your mama and your grandmama do? Just that. And so with the support of the National Coalition, with the support of Black Women's Roundtable, we will continue in Michigan to fight. We will continue to lay it down. Look, Miss Judy, they don't even let us sit together. Miss Judy, don't play. They don't let us sit together. Because we know if it is not us, it's going to be somebody else. So we are here to fight in Michigan. Y'all gonna hear me. They say, oh, Michigan is the new Mississippi. Well, that's where my parents from, Mississippi, the bomb, right? And we gonna be fighting with Cassandra too, right? That's my report, thank you.
So the other two were a little late, so I just want to give them a little intro because they deserve that. So to continue with Michigan, we have the Honorable Stephanie Williams, convener of Kalamazoo BWR. Okay, music, DJ, music.
Hello,
You know, I am because of Melanie Campbell. So thank you, Melanie, for all you've done, all you continue to pour into us and what we're doing in Michigan. Tamika is absolutely right. We don't talk about it, Reverend Judy. We be about it in Michigan. We ain't playing with them folks. When you talk about the Great Lakes Stakes and we have the worst case of contaminated water, where we can't even pour water out of our drain to cook, to take a bath, or even water our garden, it's nothing but black women that can turn that whole trajectory around. So, Tamika, you're right. We educating and we're mobilizing, but we're empowering women as well. We know that we are on the front lines of this work, so we're doing a lot of trauma-informed work. We're doing some holistic healing. We're making sure that our sisters can sustain themselves as they go to work, nurse their babies, pay the child care bill, the mortgage, and the car note, and still come home and take care of daddy too. Hey, baby. So I just want to say that in this work, whether if it's redistricting, because Tamika is right, it doesn't matter who is in office and on them committees, they drawing those lines, they are purposely breaking up the black vote. They're trying to dismantle our black power, and we're going to keep speaking up, shouting up, organizing around, and we will also legislate against them and litigate too. So we want to make sure that we have access, Deborah, opportunity, we have representation, and we also can keep together our black voting base. When we talk about black women, we talk about black mamas and grandmamas. Jacinda, I stand here today with my number 10 glam baby here with me today. A whole month old. Her mama's supposed to be up here. I think she's nursing, Lisa. But we're fighting, Tamika, for paid family leave. We want to make sure that we go to work, we get paid, and all of our benefits, so we can make sure that we keep our families together and healthy and whole. So in Michigan, we have a lot of work to do. We only can do that work with the support of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, with the support of Black Women's Roundtable. Tamika, we're raising up our Black Youth Vote coordinators. We both came up through Black Youth Vote, and we're making sure we're organizing in the community. I don't want to take up a lot of time because our Black Youth Vote coordinator, Amira Moore, just came up. I saw her. We've done a lot of work around COVID. And Lisa, I want to say this before I take my seat. Doing COVID education and vaccine access is not for the faint at heart. It took us, Tamika, knocking on those doors, making 2 and 3 touches, pulling people out just to come to vaccine clinics because people didn't trust. They were afraid, and rightfully so. And people didn't really know what to do, when, or how to do it. But they trust us. When we showed up and said Black Women's Roundtable, when we showed up and said, come on out here and do this, this is going to keep you safe, healthy. You have a better chance of surviving this pandemic, because we know when America catch a cold, black folks get pneumonia. So we want to take care of our people. It took us a lot, and it was worth every call, every knock on the door, and we're going to keep on doing what we do until we maintain Voting Rights Act, the John R. Lewis Voting Rights Act, and everything else we need to empower women. My beautiful daughter, Amira Moore.
She can say whatever she wants, but I wanted to say, just like Ida B. Wells, if y'all know any story about Ida B. Wells, she would get up nursing her baby and give a speech, okay? So I just wanted her to know that she is also a leader, and nursing, you know, is beautiful. So, yes.
Hello, everybody. I'm good, thank you. I missed y'all.
We glad you're here.
My name is Amira Moore, and I am one of the community outreach coordinators of Black Youth Vote Kalamazoo. My partners over there, thank you. I just wanted to tell you guys a few things that we've been doing, trying to stay engaged in our community over the last year, which, like my mom said, doing the vaccine clinics, doing COVID education virtually and in person in our community on our campus, our college campuses. We've also been trying to educate ourselves as well as our peers, our younger millennial peers, about redistricting and how that can affect our voting rights and our voting power. I had a speech, but I left my phone over there. And yeah, I'm going to just leave it there so I don't start rambling.
Yes, we want the baby to be comfortable while he's eating. And the next up, Miss Petey Talley, convener from Ohio Unity Coalition. Woo, 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 woo.
OH. Ohio's in the house, sisters. Good evening. My name is Petey Talley. I'm the convener of the Ohio Coalition on Black Civic Participation, Ohio Unity Coalition, and the co-convener of the Ohio Black Women's Roundtable. And I don't know if my other co-convener is in the room tonight, Angela Shute-Woodson, where we have Melanie, since we left the last in-person Black Women's Roundtable Summit, have convened 3 new tables in Ohio. So Cleveland was already organized, but these sisters were so inspired after the virtual convention last year that we launched Toledo Metro Black Women's Roundtable. We launched the Mahoning Valley Black Women's Roundtable in Youngstown. And just yesterday, we launched the Columbus Metro Black Women's Roundtable. So we've been getting it done. The sisters were so inspired by the virtual conference that they had a chance to attend. I'm happy for all the delegates for Ohio who are here and all of y'all who are watching on the Hoover app. We have been busy since 2020. 2020, we had to take it to the Ohio people. Our governor postponed the election, the primary election in 2020, just hours before the polls were supposed to open, with no instructions about what voters should do to be able to cast a ballot in the primary election. We went to work like right away and quickly taught Black people across the state of Ohio how to access the absentee ballot, how to request their ballot, gave them instructions on how to turn their ballot back in and vote by mail, something they never thought that we would be able to do. And we had a record turnout in 2020 in terms of Black people voting absentee. That's the kind of work that we're able to do because of the national coalition, the support we get from Melanie and the national team, as well as the Black Women's Roundtable. In addition to that, COVID was raging in our community too, and we too raised up ways that we could get word to our community. We said, hey, we have access to the voter file. Let's just put together a phone bank list, and let's do some phone banking and call some seniors in Ohio and tell them how to go and where to go in their community so that they can get the COVID vaccine shot. We drove about 4,000 people to the COVID vaccine that would not have otherwise been able to find their way to get the COVID work. So the work that we do in Ohio and across this country as Black women, as members of this great organization, the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, it is critical. We give to our community what others tend to ignore in our community. You all heard it from Tanya Clay House here, Civ, who supports the work that we do also in Ohio. If we are on the work, sisters, and doing the work, it will get recognized. Our community needs us, and so we encourage you all as you go back to your respective communities this year to go back, roll your sleeves up, do the work. We don't always have the resources that we need, but somebody's paying attention. A Tanya Clay House somewhere is looking at the work that's getting done on the ground, and you may not have the money this year, but if you keep doing the work, the money will come. It will come. Right, Melanie? Melanie is always holding us up and lifting us up. I get calls from actually foundations right now at the recommendation of the National. And so I'm just encouraged to be here this year, Melanie. I think this is awesome. This is more women than I thought would actually be here. And I just looked at the count. There are like hundreds of women who are on the Hoover app watching us as we are in this conference. So thank you so much for this opportunity. And we look forward to going back and taking back our power and keeping our power in 2022.
All right, I want to thank the Midwest. We're a little short on time, guys, so we're going to speed date on this one. And we have 4 more that we're not? Oh, come on down. Oh, take a bow. Take a stroll. Music, please.
give our sisters from the Midwest, the great Midwest, a hand. Where's Alabama? All right. So we're going to bring up Alabama. I'm going to do this, Lisa, for this one, then we're going to go back and forth. Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi. While they're coming up, so that's Letitia Jackson, Daniels Jackson, convener, South Alabama Black Women's Roundtable. Attorney Donnell, coordinator, South Alabama BYV. Honorable Sheila Tyson, convener, Alabama Black Women's Roundtable, Alabama Coalition. Gwendolyn Hughes, convener, Black Women's Roundtable, Louisiana. Cassandra Welchland, co-convener and lead organizer, Mississippi Black Women's Roundtable, Mississippi Coalition. Aisha Carson, state coordinator, Mississippi BYV. While they're coming up, we were in Selma, Alabama, for the 57th anniversary Selma to Montgomery March. And we have our Alabama folks. Are they coming up? Or are they gone? Oh, come on up. Come on up. And while they're coming up, and so what we're, Sheila, who's having a hard time with her knee. Why? Because she was, anybody know Selma? Who's been to Selma? All right. If you haven't been, you got to go to Selma to understand our vote, how our voting rights. Oh, you can't sit? Okay. Somebody maybe grab her. One of the brothers bring her one of the chairs because we want you up here, sis. So she was on Highway 80 with some folks. So we said we couldn't, and so the 57th anniversary happened this weekend, but there are folks who are on Highway 80 for the rest of the week to go those 54 miles. And what we said we wanted to do, and so Sheila was on there yesterday, and every day they're going so many miles. So you were with National Action Network yesterday. Today was Black Voters Matter. Do we have them on? Are they out?
I'm here.
Okay, where you at? I can't see. Can y'all see? Can we see you? All right. All right. So we said, and so Sheila and them got to go back, and they're going to close it out. But we said, and so Tasha and them had to be on the road today for those 54. They're doing those, picking them up and putting them down. And we said technology is a wonderful thing. So we're going to bring Selma Montgomery March into this power table.
That's right.
And so we're going to turn it over to our sister, Latasha Brown, who would always be with us. But they're picking it up and putting them down, as Reverend Orange used to tell us, right? And we thank y'all for being on that road. Sheila, who's going to mess up her knee behind it. I was limping this weekend myself. Y'all can see I got my heels on now, for those who know what happened to me this weekend. So, Latasha, we're going to turn it over to you to just tell us what happened today, what's going on, and how did it go?
Well, the first thing I did right was the day I started to fight. Keep your eyes on the prize and hold on, hold on. You know, sisters, it was that spirit that we continued today. Melanie, I am so sorry I missed. It was a colossal feat, but we had hundreds of people. We had almost 800 people to join us today.
Right.
We had 10 HBCUs that came from all the way from D.C., North Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina, Georgia, Texas, Florida, I think I said North Carolina, and people that came from all throughout the country. We also had several national partners to join us. And in that spirit, we started in Lowndes County. People recognized kind of the history of Lowndes County, that Lowndes County was really instrumental in the voting rights movement. You know, two things we wanted to lift up today. We started at Viola Louisa's memorial. Some who know civil rights history would know that this was a marcher. There was a white woman who came from up north, who came down to be a part and volunteer for the civil rights movement. That at the end of the Selma to Montgomery March, she was taking 2 black men back home, back to Selma. And in the process, a car full of white men shot and killed her. And so we started our march today at the spot of her memorial. we actually wound up stopping and having a teach-in. We had a teach-in where there were we had some of the original folks who are part of Tent City, and I'm going to lift up Tent City. What we don't talk about often is the backlash of what happens when we create progress. What folks may or may not know in the history is that after the Voting Rights Act was passed, that there were families that went to register to vote or had been a part of the movement. They were kicked out of the properties they were staying in. Many of our people were sharecroppers. Many of them actually lost their jobs. And they had nowhere to go. And so over 100 families, now this is after the Voting Rights Act passed, there were over 100 families that were literally forced to sleep outside. They actually slept in donated tents on a property that was given by a black woman. So when we talk about black women, a black woman, Viola Smith, donated 5 acres. So, and they set tents in there, and they actually, the community helped take care of them, to bring them food. And those families, many of those families, stayed out in Tent City for over a year. And so I just want us to really recognize that when we're talking about backlash, that this ain't nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun. But what we do know for sure is that whenever we work together, we win, right? And whenever we push apart, that we also know that we can move forward. And so in that process, we had music. What was really exciting about it, Melanie, is that the young folks, in the spirit of Black Youth Vote, the young people, literally every mile, we started the first mile and it was 10 miles. And after each mile, an HBCU actually hosted that mile. Now they had us out there singing everything from Kirk Franklin to Beyonce. But it was a beautiful, beautiful experience. So I will just stop there because I know it's been a long program. It's been a long day. Listen, I am starting to feel my age. I started all spry and walking. By that 6th mile, y'all, I was like, Lord, somebody come help me in these knees, Jesus. Come help me. So, but thank you, Melanie, for continuing to hold this space for Black women. You know, this is the space, this is the first national space as a young woman that I had access to in Black Youth Vote, in the original Black Youth Vote. And so the work, if we don't understand how empowering this work is, I know that women, many women like Sheila and others, I know that as a young woman in my early 20s, this was the space that nurtured and created space for me in the national space. And you, Melanie, you have always been supportive to our leadership, to the folk in Alabama, to me personally, and I just want to say thank you all. Y'all, Black Women's Roundtable, Black Women Rock. Thank you all.
All right. Go get somebody to rub those feet for you, girl.
Lord, I need to rub these feet, his legs, especially these knees, y'all. I might have to let the stilettos go. I think I'm gonna have to give them up.
Love you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we go, and Sheila was there yesterday, so we give her a hand and her folks, and going back to be there to do that final few miles on Friday. We're going to Skype them in from Montgomery by that time. And who's done that 54 miles? She is not lying, man. I'm going to tell how young I am. 1995, I was a record under Reverend James Orange and Dr. Laurie, Mrs. Laurie, and they had me coordinating. You know, they give you titles, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. You the coordinator. You be the coordinator. Leader. And Dr. and Mrs. Laurie walked that entire 54 miles. So those of us who thought we was young and spry, every time you thought about getting in the van, like, well, I guess I can't get in the van. Highway 8 is no joke. So, Lisa, I'm going to turn it back over to you I wanted to bring that in and do your thing, girl. Come on.
So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm divorced, so I know how to speed date. So let's do this. Okay. You know what, Sheila, we ain't going to make you get out.
show me how to turn this on. Okay, thank you. Oh. Oh, wait, I didn't even know who you were. Okay, you know the mask. I thought she was coming to help me with the microphone. She is actually from Alabama. This is Letitia Jackson. Thank you for joining us. And let me make sure I have everybody on stage, actually, from the Letitia, Honorable Sheila Tyson, Gwendolyn Hughes, Cassandra Welchin, Aisha Carson, and Tyranny Donald. The BYB. Okay. Okay. Awesome. I mean, not all, you know. Okay, everybody, let's get back on track. How do we turn this on, people? Oh, you gonna stand up? Okay. Come on.
Got somebody here with me. Come on.
Okay. All right.
Hello, everyone. I had a knee replacement 90 days ago. So the doctor said it's not a sit-down surgery. I need to be up moving, so I'm going to take care of myself. I love me. I got me a new husband, y'all. I hope he's watching.
Oh, yeah. I can attest to that, yes. Yes.
But when I I've been doing this since I was 10. I really always thought we were moving and doing a great job until I met Melanie. I'm telling you, she is the fairest person, really, that I know. If she got 5, you're going to get some of that. We are fighting a battle in Alabama that is unbelievable. You know, everyone thinks their state is the worstest. I promise you, you haven't seen anything till you see a state that create bills that don't even exist. No curbside voting. We don't even have curbside voting. So why would you create bills that don't exist? I'm telling you, it's just totally ridiculous. So you know we have only one congressperson up here representing us for real, the poor and the underserved and people that look like me. We have had so much money to come back down into the states, and if you don't have your public officials that's well informed and they're at the table fighting for you to make sure the money going in the right place, you ain't gonna get a dime in Alabama. Right. Right. The redistricting that went on, we won the court battle, but we still lost the fight because they told us, well, it's too short a notice and we're gonna wait till the next 2 years to go back and try it again. So we had to go another route where Melanie funded us, and what we did, we went into the cities and we drew their map. We bought our own software, and it was because of Melanie. So what we did, we bought our own software and we drew our own maps and made sure that the city councils passed the maps that we draw. So it's things like that that you're going to have to do. I have okay, Birmingham, Alabama, stand up. This is just some of them. Y'all stand up. Stand up. Stand up. This is what Black Women Roundtable do. Y'all can have a seat. These are our new leaders. So we got to craft this a way to where we're going to pull all of our young people as they come up from the 6th grade all the way up. We follow our girls. I'm talking about we follow them all the way through college. We go to the prison system. You will be surprised of how many people that's actually in prison can vote that still have not broke a moral turpitude law. But you got to have access because you're going to catch hell trying to get in there. We have a governor that wanted to spend $400 million on private prisons of COVID-19 money. We had to get funding from Melanie. We had to go through the back door because we had to go to the people who was going to finance that prison, go to the bank who was going to get the loan, the construction company. We went to the people who do business with them and told them they pulled out. So it's a way to do it, but if you don't have any money and you don't have it in community without jails, we work with them So if you don't have money, you don't have access to this stuff. This is hard, grueling work. You know, we're getting ready to march on Friday, so we're asking everyone on Friday to please come down and march to the Capitol with us. And it's all about our voting rights. If you don't have any voting rights, you don't have anything.
I just want to add one short thing to that. We actually have not lost the war yet on redistricting. I'm one of the plaintiffs in the lawsuit, Mulligan versus the state of Alabama. We filed for an emergency injunction for them not to be able to use those maps, and we won at the federal district court, but the Supreme Court overruled that. But the case itself continues, and we will actually have oral arguments in the case and go forward, and we intend to win that.
We're going to bring up Miss Gwendolyn Hughes from Louisiana.
Yes, good evening. Thank you for having me. The Louisiana Black Women's Roundtable is united with the NCBCP's targeted mission to rebuild hope, justice, equity, and equality in 2022. In keeping with that mission, we have addressed numerous areas of concern while focusing on the following priorities: insisting that black voters in Louisiana be provided an equal opportunity to participate in the political process and elect candidates of their choice by providing redistricting maps that assures that opportunity, and increasing the awareness of efforts to address health disparities among black families in Louisiana, especially as it relates to COVID-19 virus. Louisiana Black Women's Roundtable has joined various civil rights advocates in demanding that Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards veto the proposed congressional and state legislative districting plans submitted to his office by the Louisiana State Legislature. It is our position that the submitted plans are in violation of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. The new maps fail to provide black voters in Louisiana an equal opportunity to participate in the political process and elect candidates of their choice. Under the current congressional district maps, black Louisianians are severely underrepresented. Louisiana's voting age population is nearly 1/3 black. However, black voters in Louisiana only have an opportunity to elect candidates of their choice in one of the 6 congressional districts. While it is our position that we must create a second majority-minority congressional district, and for Bessie as well, however, it must be done in a manner not to weaken the existing Louisiana 2nd congressional district. It is imperative that the state create new maps that gives Louisiana a real chance of electing 2 black representatives. All right. And health disparities among black families. In Louisiana, the COVID-19 pandemic has changed so much over the last 2 years and has brought to the forefront various health inequities experienced by our community. Through our partnership with the New Orleans Agenda, we were able to use our digital platforms to do the following: help increase awareness of the role public policy and institutional racism play in health disparities in Louisiana, promote strategies designed to help Louisiana achieve its goals of increasing its health rankings by 2030, inform the underserved community of the existence of collaborative efforts providing COVID-19 prevention and treatment activities, and help advance policy initiatives to reduce health disparities, address adverse childhood experience, improve women's health, and adopt a living wage. We've helped to increase the reach of entities such as the Louisiana Center for Health Equity, New Orleans Health Department, the Black Women's Health Conference, Dillard University's Office of Community and Church Relations, Tulane University Health Department, Dillard University Minority Health and Health Disparities Research Center, DePaul Community Health Centers, Xavier University Center for Equity, Justice, and the Human Spirit, Xavier University Center for Minority Health and Health Disparities Research and Education, and numerous faith-based organizations and our targeted populations. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I just want to let everybody know, we know it's late, but just hang with us. 10 minutes, y'all. 10 minutes, okay? I told you I'm good at speed dating, so I'm going to get us up here. This is my girl, Cassandra. She is the convener of Mississippi Roundtable, Black Women's Roundtable, along with Mississippi Coalition on Black Civic Participation.
Hey, y'all. Where my Mississippi people at? M, I, cricket letter, I, humpback, I. I don't hear y'all. M, I, cricket letter, I, cricket letter, I, Humpback, humpback, I. Mississippi in the house tonight. Thank you all so much for having me here and then having our team here. Melanie, thank you as always, always. And for all the Black Women Roundtable leaders, you all inspire me. So when I was coming up here, they said, why are you bringing this purse up here? I want everyone to hold up their purse. Y'all got them. Where your purse at? Where your purses? Where your purses? Where your pocketbooks? Where them pocketbooks at? I want y'all to say this. Women's pocketbooks matter. Come on, say it again. Women's pocketbooks matter. One more time, like you believe it, like you got $1 million in here. Women's pocketbooks matter. Yeah, they do, and that's the work we've been doing in Mississippi. We've been holding our elected officials accountable and centering the pocketbooks of women. This past legislative session, we collected over 250 pocketbooks, and we placed them on every legislator's desk to remind them that our money matters, that it matters to our households, and it matters to Mississippi's economy. It matters to every state. Our pocketbooks matter. And so we brought these pocketbooks to the state to let them know that. So we've been advocating for equal pay for equal work. Mississippi is the only state in the country without an equal pay law. Black women make 56 cents on the dollar. We're losing over $20,000 a year in Mississippi. In the country, it's the same. So Mississippi got to do better and not neglect our pocketbooks. We've also been advocating for Medicaid expansion. Again, we're in the South. Alabama, Louisiana. I don't know who we playing. Yeah, I'm not sure. We all in the box. And we've been advocating for Medicaid expansion. Today, we were thrown a blow. Our legislators had an opportunity to pass Medicaid expansion for moms 12 months, extended to 12 months, because right now they were only getting it for 6 weeks. Passed it out of committee, and today, the Speaker of the House and the chair of the committee decided to let it die on the calendar. That is tragic, particularly for Black women who have one of the highest mortality rates in the country. And so we, tonight, when I leave here at 10 o'clock, we got a whole call, state call, to figure out and to organize around the Speaker's comments, who says he has not been shown data that shows that expanding Medicaid would save lives. That says a lot about what he thinks about us, because we know who's on Medicaid. So that's some of the work that we're doing, centering the stories of Black women, letting them know that that the capital belongs to them. And as Melanie has said, and some of you all have said, we believe in shifting power at the voting booth and at the policy table. Come on, my pocketbook matter. One more time, my pocketbooks matter. Thank y'all.
Let's hear it for Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. Okay. I told you I was going to do real fast. We're going next. We're going back to the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic region. Oh, we're calling everybody. Let's get it going. I'm going to call D.C., Maryland, PA, Virginia, and Florida and Georgia. Woo! Come on up. LaWanna Brown, Laverne Chapman, Krista Jones, Donna Frisbee Greenwood, Tamika Dominique, Reverend Judith Moore, Solandra Benton, Marion Harrell, Helen Butler, Felicia Davis, Deborah Scott, Ariel Singleton. Bring the party. Okay, I'm going to start with LaWanna Brown, co-convener, Maryland, D.C. Unity Coalition and Community of Hope AME Church. LaWanna? Is LaWanna here? No, LaWanna's not here, so we're not starting with LaWanna. Laverne Chapman, Krista Jones, Reverend Judith. There you are. Come on up here, Reverend Judith.
Judith, tell us what's going on in Pittsburgh. She is the BWR convener for Pittsburgh Mon Valley. Come on.
How many of you know that we are the ones we've been waiting for? We don't do this work in and of ourselves, but we bring aboard people and women, black women, who are in support of all the things that we're suffering and going through in Pittsburgh. In case you didn't know it, Pittsburgh is the worst city for black women. Pittsburgh is the worst city for black women. And so we have our plates full. We don't do this work by ourselves. We have people like Dr. Long, who's with us today. We have people like Roxanne Epperson, who is also with us today. We also have Rochelle Jackson, who is with us today. Ginger Underwood, who is our community activist. Jacqueline Hill's not able to be here, but she is our senior policy advisor. And so all of us are going to be working together to make a difference in this place. Also with us is Jerry Allen. We befriended each other a long time ago. She has been an advocate, and we've been working side by side. But I want you to know these things, though, about Pittsburgh. Even though people think we're the last on everything, well, I'll tell you what, we got our first black mayor and first lady in Pittsburgh. We have elected several black women as judges in the Pittsburgh Mon Valley area. And yes, we are suffering from voter suppression and things like paid sick leave and all those other things. But I'm here to tell you today the new things that are happening. We just launched a Black Women on Boards initiative. We are also doing our first theatrical performance talking about black women, Superwoman Syndrome. So we're excited about that, and we'll have a panel of therapists who will be talking to us because we think that we can jump buildings in a single bound. And you know what? We have. But we need to make sure that we take care of ourselves, and that's what we're not doing as well. So we're looking to do some great things. With me today is going to tell us a little bit about what's going on in the Pittsburgh Mon Valley. With me, just very briefly, Dr. Long is our guru for social media. And also with me to speak for a moment is Ginger Underwood, who will tell us about the initiatives we are also doing. Thank you. Okay, I'm going fast. I just wanted to give a shout out real quick to the young people from Alabama. I am so glad to see you. What we've been doing is rebranding ourselves and trying to reach out to the Mon Valley, Pittsburgh area through social media. We are activists that used to walk and used to just be present all the time. But in this age of social media, we went from the web page and a Facebook page to now we're on every social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And we are trying to reach out to a large array of people from all ages to become more active and to inform them what it is these issues are. Sometimes people don't listen to the news. Sometimes they hear about what the bill is, but they don't really understand what, for instance, this Build Back Better is. So we post and we go into a lot of detail to tell everybody what it is we're fighting for and what we want them to fight for too.
Hi, my name is Ginger Underwood, and I'm the outreach coordinator and activist. You know, you wear a lot of hats, you know, but however, I want to thank Pastor Moore, and I want to thank Melanie, our fearless leader. I'm just going to read off some stats. 70% of Americans support the paid sick leave for all, and it has broad support. Passing emergency sick leave during COVID was one of the first things Congress did when the pandemic hit in 2020. It saved lives, jobs, and families. 85% of black women are sole, primary, or co-breadwinners for their families.
Without policies that enable them to take time off for caregiving, too many women may have to sacrifice their job, their pay, or both to fulfill caregiving responsibilities. Support for caregivers is crucial to improving the quality of wages of caregiving jobs. Build Back Better would provide 4 paid weeks of sick leave for all U.S. workers, including those workers to have access for family and medical leave. The need for high-quality, accessible, and affordable care is only growing, but the high costs and care shortages leave many to rely on family for unpaid caregiving.
Awesome. Thank you, Pittsburgh. My home state, but I'm much closer to Philly. But anyway, so we are moving on. We have Pittsburgh, and so we're just going to go next. Let's bring up Solange Benton, convener of the Florida Coalition on Black Civic Participation, and Marion Harrell, BYB coordinator.
Good evening. We're going to do it real fast because I was just so excited about all the reports that came before. That's why I love Black Women Roundtable. Our fearless leader, Melanie Campbell, I thank you because she supports us all the time. So all my leaders from Florida that's on virtual and that's in the house today, because we could not do it without them. And so the work that we've been doing in Florida, I'm just going to highlight some of them because we'd be here all night if all the work that the women in Florida do. We call the Underground Railroad. So we don't, we help other folks out too. So when you see stuff out there, it ain't, Black woman hand is on it somewhere. But we just want to say, during this COVID, it has been very stressful over these last 2 years where we had to just reorganize and reshift how we organize. Because, we have a governor that didn't believe that we had COVID. So our numbers were so high that to the point that they were not even trying to supply masks or anything in the beginning. Our sister, our leader down in Treasure Coast, Sister Deanna, she had called us and she was like, the women in these rural communities and families, they're scared to death. The government, nobody's trying to help them. 24 hours, we was able to turn out and put masks in those communities. Out of that, because I always say it's about building relationships. We do not just want to be in the community just when it's time to vote. So this is the way that we educate folks. Like, this is why you have to have elected officials that will care about you, that want to do things for you, and that understand your issues. Out of that community, I'm here to say that one of our Black Women Roundtable is now the mayor of that community. So that's one of our success stories. We got so many of them across the state. We was able, even then in the COVID in Pensacola, Florida, where our leaders called us and said that the electric company has skyrocket. People bills, triple their bills and everything like that. Older people have, the oxygens and they need the machines and they light bills. So we was able to raise money on that. Thanks to one of our younger Black youth folk, now he's no longer Black youth folk now. He said, he's out in civic game. He went out there and ground and raised some money, and we was thinking we was going to help 100 people in that community. We ended up helping 500 families in that community. So it's a lot of things. Like I said, I'm not just going to, it's a couple of, but we're across the state of Florida. It was a little difficult in the COVID because people scared our leaders that's normally hands-on and everything like that. We had to really protect because a lot of mental illness is going on. So we're doing just with that also, since the COVID, we had to train folks how to use Zoom, get on Zoom, and they have, from the time, it's going on 2 years now, right, Diane? I don't know, it's going on about 2 years now. Every Monday night we do a Sister Can You Talk on Zoom, and we always have 25 to 50 women show up in that space, and that's how we've been educating and staying, as you say, online dating, speed dating. So those are the things that we've done. There's so many things that I could talk about, but we know we're going to respect the time because I want to hear from my other sisters and stuff like that. But we've been doing a lot of reach and texting, phone texting, and family and friends, and keeping them educated so that we even have a reach beyond Florida, that we have people that's coming on from Delaware and Boston and New Jersey that wants to get the information that's a reach. And so I just thank all our leaders in Florida. You are awesome. I couldn't do this work without you, but most of all, we could not do it without our sister leader, Melanie Campbell, who's from Florida. And guess what? And the next Supreme Court judge is from where? Florida. Judge Brown was educated in Florida, if y'all don't know that, from Palmetto School. Her school was Palmetto. So, okay, we fighting for the system, because we've been talking about this. Melanie, what I said, when they was talking about, we got to get I'm for my vice president, but they were saying we need to get our vice president. We need a black woman. I said, don't forget, we need a sister on the Supreme Court. That's a lifetime appointment. This is only 4 to 8 years. We need lifetime, because everything ends up in the courts, like our voting rights and everything else. And we need folks on there that understand our issues come from our community, because I'm going to fight like hell, and I'm a Christian, but I'm going to fight like hell to get my sister up in that seat. And one of our great leaders, 2 young leaders here, we did some great work. She's going to continue to do, she used to be like this. So I understand them Alabama babies from 6th grade, because we've been having her out there and hitting them streets to about 5th grade, 6th grade. Now she FAMU, get ready to graduate from FAMU, y'all. Ratting us. So we're going to let her give it a report, and I'm so proud of her.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Marion Harriet. I'm the state coordinator of the Florida Black Youth Vote. So just to highlight our most successful event that we hosted in 2021, we actually hit up all of our HBCUs in Florida, and we actually have 1,000 students at these HBCUs that have pledged to vote in this upcoming election that we have in Florida. On top of that, we have hosted trainings in voter education to allow our students and allow our young folks to understand that their vote matters. In 2022, this year, we'll be having a Dripped in Pearls Girl Empowerment workshops in Orlando this summer. If you guys are interested, let me know. All right. And then we'll be having an HBCU bomb threat Twitter storm. I know many of you guys probably know about all the different HBCUs that had, got that bomb threat. So we'll be addressing that and also having a virtual rally as well. And then the last thing is that we'll be also having a TikTok challenge, which will be, why does your vote matter? That's the topic. And so we're hoping that we'll have a lot of recipients come and win this money,
I just want to make one point that we was at Edgewater College and all these different colleges really turning out, people were engaged. And after that, about a week or 2 after that, we've been engaging the folks, then they started coming up the bomb. It's real in Florida. I know Alabama and Mississippi, but guess what? I personally got letters to my house written in red. And so my thing is that we ain't scared, because we know I'm born to die. And I got to die from something. And so the thing is that but our children were so encouraged. Our youth were so encouraged. They want to be engaged, civilly engaged, because they've been so disconnected from this COVID, because, folks wasn't going to school and everything. But I know that was connected and intentional, but we're not scared. We're going to be back on those campuses, and we're going to make sure our babies do what they want to do, and they want to be civically engaged. And so thank you, Marion, for your leadership.
Yes, thank you both. Next up, Felicia wants to skip the line, so we're going to allow her. Felicia Davis, Clayton County, BWR. Bring it, girl.
Good evening. Woo! So I came so I could speed the program up a bit, and everybody can say, thank you, Georgia. It doesn't sound like y'all totally appreciate what we did, so let's just do it one more time. I want to say thank you, Georgia. All right, that's all I needed. And my role is to bring up the phenomenal Helen Butler. Helen, come on up, because we're speeding the thing up. And see, Helen Butler, we had to turn it out on Election Day. And then Helen Butler said, let's do it again. And we did. So this is Let's Do It Again, Helen Butler.
All right. I love my cheerleader, Felicia Davis, right? All right, Georgia, I know it's late, but we were the model for everything bad. But guess what? We don't care. We're not giving up. And we're fighting the fight. I want to recognize one of our state table partners tonight, Miss Denise Luke from Pro Georgia. you know, it's good to have partners that work in coalition to get this work done. I didn't do this by myself. Felicia didn't do it by herself. Deborah didn't do it. It was all of us collectively doing the work. I have a phenomenal team at the People's Agenda. Young, old, in between, it doesn't matter, but we get the work done. And so we do 365 days civic engagement. We're out doing voter registration right now, all across the state of Georgia. We do voter education to make sure people know what has happened because of the voter suppression, Jim Crow 2.0 voter suppression bill, what it means and how to get around that. They said we can't pass out the water, but we can 150 feet away from the polling locations. We provided 800 poll monitors to go to polling locations throughout the state to ensure that people were able to exercise their right to vote. And right now, you know, our legislature is doing another omnibus bill, and it has in it the provisions for the GBI to provide security at polling locations. Just another voter intimidation tactic. So be on the lookout. Georgia is the model, so be on the lookout for that. The other thing is that, you know, they had this great takeover process. They wanted to take control of the entire election process, from who gets to decide where your polling location is going to be, to whose vote's gonna count, how it gets counted, when it gets counted, and whether the election is certified. And of course, they took away some of the state responsibilities by taking the control from the Secretary of State. But that's just not it. They're doing it in each county. Right now, 10 counties have had their boards of elections taken over to give the majority party total control, trying to take it away from the local control. But that's not only it. They are now going after boards of education, boards of commissioners, with the redistricting process. We drew our own maps, just like Sheila said, and we drew maps that would give fair representation. But of course, our legislature gets to take total control and approval. So if they didn't like it, they just did away with the normal process and drew their own maps without giving us access to it to even make comments. So be on the lookout for that as well. The other thing that we have just finished, though, because there is a God somewhere. I have spent the time in Lincoln County. It's a very rural county with not very many black people, but they had 7 polling locations, and they wanted to consolidate the 7 to 1. No public transit, right? And you had to drive 30 miles one way to get to that central polling location. They didn't care. They said, well, we got public transportation. We got a senior program where that senior program takes people to dialysis and other things. So when are you going to take the people to the polling locations? But and first of all, the people that were there didn't even know they had that ability. So, but we've been there because the citizens said, we are not going to stand for our polling locations to be consolidated. We got with them and we said there's a law that says if you get 20% of registered voters to sign the petition to not close, they can't close it. We did that. Then they changed the rules. They wanted to change it to 4 polling locations. And we did again. We got the petition within a week's time. A week's time, we got the 20%. Tonight, they had a meeting as to whether they would accept those polling location closings. I want to say we were victorious because they said no. They are not going to close any polling locations. They're going to let all 7 stay open. So we win.
What do they say? You win with black women? Isn't that what they say? Come on, come on.
Get out the way. Wait. No. No. Another fabulous leader in the state of Georgia. Think tank policy advocate, none other than the CEO of the Georgia Stand Up, Miss Deborah Scott and Miss Ariel from Black Youth Vote.
All right, I don't even need the DJ. We're going to make it real short and simple. I promise. How's everybody doing? Y'all still up? I see a couple heads nodding, so I'm going to keep it short. Look, we came here from Georgia on the premise of we're undeniably black, unmistakably woman, and unapologetically magic. We doing that black woman magic out here, right? Woo-woo! But we brought some black youth that are doing some wonderful things. I know they're still in the house, so some of our HBCUs, I think we got Spelman in here. We got Clark in here. We got Albany State in here. Okay, see, y'all trying to take us from the Georgia, but we got fam. You know what? Just shout out your HBCU if you in here. I'm wearing mine right now, but that's all right. Look, we're doing some amazing things in Georgia, and we really, okay now. We really appreciate the support that we have. Just to not be repetitive, we are staying and keeping that fight up when it comes to voter suppression and voter registration and voter education, supporting our students in the continued Atlanta student movement. They have been doing amazing things in the AUC Center, and so we just thank you guys for supporting us. Thank you for keeping us in your prayers. We're going to keep it pushing. We're going to keep it moving. Thank you so much.
Can we have a round of applause for everybody, for all our affiliates and all the work that they do? And that is just a little fraction of what you heard. So believe that, because we didn't even have everybody up here. So I want to thank you all. Melanie, Chris, I don't know, DJ, where you at? Wake up. You my last. I want to bring up Josh Gray and Christina Q.
And that must be a hard pill to swallow. I feel for your man. I'm a hard ass to follow.
We're in the last minute, y'all.
Good evening. I will be very quick. How y'all doing this evening? Good. We just have some important updates for you. My colleague Josh is coming up to join me. He's going to wave in the back. Okay, Josh, stand up, please. Melanie asked if you could come to the stage, please.
He's right there.
I'm trying to follow instructions. Can you just come up? Melanie asked again if you could come up to the stage. We're just trying to give logistical information really quick. And so we want you all to see who Joshua is. Most of you know Joshua, but maybe you have not met me. My name is Christina Q, and I'm the newest member to Melanie's team. Thank you so much, Melanie. I'm so excited to be working for a powerhouse such as Melanie Campbell, and I am the national campaign manager for the Unity Campaign. So I look forward to working with all of you in the states on the upcoming elections this year. And so we were just wanting to provide logistics for Hill Day tomorrow, we're going to have a very busy day, and we wanted to make sure that you all had the information.
Good evening. My name is Josh Gray. I am the Vice President of Strategic Alliances and Policy at the Coalition. And she asked for me to come up here to see my face. So There's a couple things. I will have Christina start with the first order of business in the morning, and then I will go into the buses and transportation.
Great. So first thing, we'll have a continental grab-and-go breakfast for you. That'll be provided at 7 a.m. And just want to note that you will also need to get your COVID testing completed between the hours of 7 a.m. To 8 a.m. The buses will start loading at 8:30 a.m. Okay, and we'll try to depart by 9:15. So please remember to give yourself time, and if you have a large group, give everyone time to eat, because we will not allow eating on the bus since everyone have to keep their mask during transportation. So masks will strictly be enforced on the bus to protect you all. So we want to just make sure that you all were aware of that.
So buses will start loading again at 8:30 a.m. and depart at 9:15. The buses should arrive around 9:30 to the drop-off site, which is about a block away from the Supreme Court to where we will have our speak out. And then it's only a short step, like around the corner from where we're at. To load the bus, we go from the Woodrow Wilson bus loop, which is located on level 2 of the opposite side of campus. You will take the escalators to level 2 and take a right and walk down along the aisle to Woodrow Wilson bus loop. And there will have a staff there in the morning to direct you. I know it's a mouthful. However, we'll have someone there to help you with that. So come to the lobby, basically, and then we'll have someone there. I should have just said that, like, come to the lobby, and then I would have saved you 1 minute of your brain, but come to the lobby.
Yes. And then we will load the buses at Woodrow Wilson, and we wanted you to remember to please dress warm and wear comfortable shoes, because you will be doing a lot of walking tomorrow. Also, if you're not riding the bus, the best alternative would be to pay for an Uber or a Lyft. There's no public transportation option other than Uber or Lyft or taxi. We just wanted to remind you of that. And the speak out will be from 10 a.m. to 11:30. And if you don't have Hill meetings to attend, there will be buses ready to go right after the speak out to bring you back to the hotel. And then we will have hourly shuttles after that. So 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 2:30 will be the last bus coming from Capitol Hill back to the hotel. And all the delegation leaders will have me and Josh's cell phone numbers, and we will coordinate directly with the buses. So if your meeting is running late or anything like that, just keep us updated, and we will make sure that we know when the delegations are on the way back to the buses and they can wait for you.
Yeah, I think Christina just wrapped everything up. So I guess there's just the last reminder. So the COVID test, please make sure you have submitted your COVID test to receive a wristband for Thursday prior to leaving on the premise. So I only imagine that we're all going to eat in the morning, and so there will be a line, so try to get there a little bit earlier so you can take your COVID test. I think that's it.
Thank you.
Mel, you want to say anything before we say goodnight? She's coming.
Good night.